According to the 1930 census, there were approximately 12 million African Americans. Many of these were the children and grandchildren of slaves. As of July 2006, only 8% of the African American population was recorded as being 65 years or older. With an average life expectancy of 72 years for males and 79 years for females, we have lost or are about to lose the foremost experts on how we are all connected. The time for action is now. Welcome to Reconnected. I am your host, Dahada Harris. On this episode, we'll show you how to get started and begin your family tree. Using my maternal or mother's ancestry, which is the Broadnax family, as a model, I'll share with you the secrets that help me trace my probable origins to 550 AD in Belgium. That's right, 550 AD. Only my paternal or father's DNA originated from Africa. Before beginning this journey, I had no idea that I wasn't a 100% descendant of an African warrior, as my skin and body build suggested. There are several family tree models. As it should be, they all start with you. This specific model is called the Pedigree Fan Chart, though it looks more like an alien artifact. With a little bit of help and a whole lot of luck, your family tree will cross several generations and look a little like this when you're done. Now let's start by going ahead and printing the file you just downloaded. This will make it easier for us to start breaking down the wall and rebuilding the family. Using your printout as a guide, start by writing down your name, your parents' name, and as many generations of grandparents as you may be aware of. Now it's time to talk the talk. All right, don't call this a grudge, but back in elementary school, my teacher gave me a C- on a family tree assignment because I couldn't trace my history back to the Mayflower. Since then, they've stopped the practice of grading family trees. But a shout out to my teacher anyway for planting a seed. So back to the lecture at hand. After interviewing my parents, aunts, and uncles, I made it to the level you see here on the screen. With a monthly subscription to Ancestry, I was able to fill in the missing blanks on my father's side. As you can see, for this tree, I changed the paternal lineage to the left-hand side. Until you get all your answers, the chart is a living, breathing document and doesn't need to be pretty or follow any specific format. But I should warn you, enter at your own risk. What you may find will shock you. For 30 years, I had no idea that my last name should have been White, after my grandfather, or that a father's last name wasn't automatically given to his child, as if genealogy wasn't challenging enough. But the data from family members and census records allows us to communicate with our past like they were still here. You may be asking yourself, how? Without a seance, a Ouija board, or some other nonsense, can I communicate with someone who is long gone? While people perish, their story never dies. I now introduce you to John Thomas White from Disputana, Virginia. The son I loved, your grandmother, to my dying day. Just so happened I was married when I met her. We eventually got married, but they was chilling in between. Made sense for all of them to have the same last name. That's all. That's the reason. While some stories may shock you, many will inspire you. Record them all and learn how your ancestors not only bore the weight of building a nation by hand, but also how they are inextricably woven into the fabric of American history. Like my cousin, Elston Howard, the first black New York Yankee. Like many African Americans, I ran into a brick wall after finding all I could about my grandparents and great-grandparents. Don't be discouraged. Keep moving and learn about some of your other family members, like your cousins. So my relationship to Elston Howard comes through my grandmother, Carrie Ernestine Broadnax, formerly Carrie Ernestine Webb, daughter of Ernest Webb. Ernest had a sister by the name of Emmeline Webb. Emmeline Webb and Travis Howard are the parents of my cousin, Elston Jean Howard. All right, so I hear you grumbling. You're saying to yourself, man, that's why I don't like genealogy, man. That last part was boring. So maybe you're more into stories of forbidden romance, like Romeo and Juliet or Othello. Elston's father was from a well-to-do family and didn't claim Elston as his son until he became a New York Yankee. And I'm sure he caught plenty of hell from having anything to do with Emmeline Webb, who wasn't from the right, how should I say, socioeconomic background, Or maybe civil rights is your thing. My great-grandfather Ernest was killed by the Klan in Arkansas, which is what prompted the whole family to move to Missouri, where Emmeline met Travis Howard. Or how about ironies? Elston became the first black New York Yankee, and his manager Casey Stengel calls him 8-Ball on a regular basis and is quoted saying, "Well, when they finally got me a nigger, I get the only one that can't run." Weren't the Yankees supposed to be on our side? Of all the genres I've mentioned, I really hope that your favorite is action. Elston Howard was an all-star almost every year he was in the league, but he wasn't a regular starter at any one given position because of a few names like Mickey Mantle and Yogi Berra. I don't want Elston to be in the Hall of Fame because he's black, not because he's my cousin, but because he belongs there and it's the right thing to do. I really hope you enjoyed learning about my cousin Elston Howard and will help us get him into the Hall of Fame where he belongs. While I learned a lot on my detour through the cousins, I eventually struck pay dirt on multiple family lines. I found all of my maternal great-great-grandparents and entered the slavery era. The wall is at its strongest during this period because most African Americans didn't appear on the census until 1870 after the Civil War. It's time to call in for reinforcements. These are pictures of my maternal and paternal great-great-grandmothers. When I acquired these from my aunts, I felt like I had physically embraced my history. If you want to catch bigger fish, though, you have to cast a larger net and in deeper waters. When I first started talking the talk, I went to the usual suspects, mom, dad, aunts, etc. But to catch my larger fish, I set up a free genealogy account at tribalpages.com. Now armed with the centralized location where everyone in my family could contribute names, stories, and pictures, my family tree grew from 75 individuals to several hundred in a matter of weeks. On the next episode of Reconnected, I'll show you what I did to confirm my white ancestry and how most of our complexions are more complicated than ever contemplated. We'll also cover how to use a census, surnames, and vital records. Reconnected is brought to you by the Enitiative Group Inc. Your ancestors are waiting. The time is now.